My beloved child, sit still in my gentle presence and let this word sink into the deepest place within you. Your life is not a copy, not an unnecessary stroke, and not a story hastily written among countless others. Before you knew how to call yourself by name, I knew you. Before you stepped into this world, I placed within you distinct marks, distinct abilities, distinct holy longings, and an entire journey that no one else can walk in your place. You were not created to squeeze yourself into someone else's mold, nor were you formed to live beneath the shadow of fleeting measurements. You are the work I have shaped with wisdom, and what I have written upon your life carries a tone that cannot be repeated in anyone else. There are seasons when you look at others and think they are moving faster, farther, brighter, more loved, and more favored with open doors. You see what they have, and you begin to doubt what I am doing within you. You look at their harvest and forget that I am tending the seed within you. You look at their door and forget that I do not lead all my children through the same path. You look at the applause around them and forget that some works I do in silence are more precious than the things the world can see, my child. Comparison does not merely make your eyes weary. It also pulls your heart away from where I am leading you. When you keep measuring your journey by the footsteps of others, you will lose the peace that was meant specifically for you. I did not call you to run someone else's race. I did not place upon your shoulders a garment tailored for another person. If you try to wear it, you will feel burdened, restricted, and unfamiliar, no matter how beautiful that garment may appear on the outside. Remember David when he stood before Goliath. People wanted to dress him in Saul's armor that seemed reasonable in human eyes, because the battle before him was so great. But that armor did not belong to David. It may have suited someone else, but it kept him from walking according to what I had trained in him in the wilderness. David did not win by imitating the appearance of another warrior. He won with what I had placed in his hand, with faithfulness forged in unseen days, with a small stone held in great trust. Do you see? Your weapon may not look like someone else's. Your path may not look like someone else's. But what I have placed within you is enough for the battle I allow you to face. Therefore, do not despise the way I am preparing you. Perhaps you are not being trained in a palace, but in the quiet days of the wilderness. Perhaps many people do not call your name, but I am calling you in the secret place. Perhaps you have not yet seen great results, but I am building deep foundations beneath the surface. The uniqueness in your life does not always appear through radiant signs. Often, it is formed through very personal trials, very personal wounds, very personal lessons, and moments when you must choose to trust, even when you cannot explain it to anyone. These very things are creating depth within you. I waste no season. I use even the days when you think you are moving slowly to place endurance within you. I use even the places where you once felt left behind to teach you to hear my voice more clearly. I use even the quiet tears to water the seed that one day will bloom in the light, my beloved child. And I know comparison often comes when you are tired. When you have not yet seen the door open, you easily look toward someone else's door. When you have not yet heard the answer, you easily think I have favored someone else more than you. When you are in the middle of the process, you easily forget that not every flower blooms on the same day, not every tree grows at the same speed, and not every river flows through the same land. But I do not love you less, simply because you are in a different season. I am not late with you, simply because you have not yet seen what you long for. I did not make a mistake when I gave you a different rhythm. There are things that would exhaust you if they came too early. Doors that would lead you into places where you are not yet steady enough to stand if they open too soon. And things I hold back not to refuse you, but to protect the precious work I am growing within you. Let your heart be freed from the burden of having to be like anyone else. You do not need to borrow another person's voice in order for me to hear you. You do not need to copy another person's light in order for me to use you. You do not need to prove your worth by entering race I never assigned to you. The more you try to become someone else, the farther you drift from the beauty I placed within you. But when you return to the truth that you belong to me, that you were created by me, guided by me, and loved by me, with a love that requires no comparison, your heart will begin to breathe again. Peace will return to the places once occupied by anxiety. Joy will bloom again where envy had withered the ground. Courage will awaken in the place where you once saw yourself as small. I want you to understand that being uniquely designed does not mean you must live in isolation, nor does it mean you are above others. It means you have your own part in my symphony. A string does not need to envy a drum, a candle does not need to envy a star, and a stream does not need to envy the wide sea. Each thing has its place, its beauty, its timing, and its purpose. When you stand where I have placed you, you do not need to be loud in order to have meaning. When you live according to what I have entrusted to you, you do not need everyone to see you for your life to bear fruit. There are quiet blessings that pass through you to others simply because you are faithful to be yourself in my hands. So from today on, when the temptation to compare draws near, pause and return to me. Tell your heart that you have not been forgotten, that you have not been made lacking, and that you have not been placed wrongly. Remember that what I write for you does not need to resemble what I write for someone else in order to be beautiful. Guard your eyes from gazing too long at another person's journey until you lose gratitude for your own. When they are lifted up, but do not lower yourself because of what I am doing in them. Rejoice in another person's harvest, but also tend your own seed. Learn from those who have gone before you, but do not lose your own calling. Be humble enough to be taught, yet courageous enough to walk in the form I have given you. I am leading you on a path measured by my wisdom, not by the haste of the world. What belongs to you will not be lost, simply because someone else arrived first. What I have reserved for you does not need to be seized through anxiety. What I am building within you will not collapse when you stop comparing and begin to trust. Walk more lightly, my child. Let your shoulders stop carrying the burden of having to prove yourself. Let your heart rest in the truth that I did not create you by accident. You are my loving intention, a distinct brushstroke in the great painting of grace, an irreplaceable part of what I am doing in this world. And as you learn to live your life before me, not before the distorted mirror of comparison, you will see freedom growing day by day. You will learn to rejoice in your small steps. You will learn to value quiet gifts. You will learn to give thanks even when the journey is not yet complete. You will no longer ask why you are not like that other person, but instead, ask how I want you to be faithful today. That is when you begin to live according to the design I placed within you. Not hurried, not competing, not despising yourself, but full of peace, full of light, and full of trust. Walk forward, my beloved child. No one else can live the life I have entrusted to you. And when you live it with me, even the paths that seem ordinary will become holy, because my footsteps are there beside your voice. My beloved child, wake before the first light of day touches the window of your life. not merely with open eyes, but with a heart that knows how to listen. There are dawns that do not begin on the horizon, but in the deepest place within you, where fears have lain still for too long, where anxieties have silently built walls, where doubts have made you hesitate to step into what I have prepared. I do not call you to awaken so that you will panic, nor do I call you to be watchful so that you will condemn yourself for the days you slept in weariness. I call you because the hour of new life is drawing near. And you cannot step into the morning of grace wearing the old garment of a long night. What you thought was an ending is not the final period. It may be the very moment I remove the shell that once protected you for a season, but has now become a cage keeping you from freedom. There are things within you that were formed by pain, disappointment, the times you trusted and were wounded, and the seasons when you prayed but did not yet see an answer. You learned to shrink back to avoid being touched, to doubt in order to avoid disappointment, to control in order to avoid losing more. But my child, not every defense mechanism comes from wisdom. Sometimes what you call caution is actually fear dressed in the loathing of peace. Sometimes what you call strength is weariness that dares not admit itself. Sometimes what you call "I am fine" is only a tightly closed door before my gentle knocking. I do not come to take from you what you need, but to free you from what has expired. I do not break you in order to abandon you among the ruins. I peel away the old shell so that the life within you can breathe in the light. Remember Lazarus, who lay in the darkness of the tomb when everyone thought the story had ended. Outside, weeping was heard. In human eyes, the timing was too late. In their minds, all hope had been buried behind a heavy stone. But I am not limited by the smell of what is old, by the passing of days, or by the conclusions of the crowd. When my voice called out, what had been considered impossible had to give way to life. The stone was rolled away, the grave clothes were removed, and the one who had been kept in darkness stepped out into the light. Do you see? Deliverance is not only leaving a circumstance. Often, it is being unwrapped from the layers that kept you from walking, from seeing clearly, and from breathing in the freedom I give. There are invisible grave clothes named fear, insecurity, shame, doubt, haste, and control. And I am calling you to step out of them. Therefore, when I tell you to stay awake before dawn, I am not merely speaking of a moment on the clock. I am speaking of the posture within you before the new season opens. There are doors I am about to open, but you need to release the old key of anxiety. There are paths I am about to lead you on, but you need to stop returning to the worn-out roads that once wounded you. There are promises drawing near, but you need to let me cleanse your eyes from the habit of seeing the future through the wounds of the past. My dawn does not come to frighten you. It comes to show you that the night has no right to rule forever. Light does not ask darkness for permission to appear. When my timing comes, what once covered you must retreat, and what once made you tremble will no longer be allowed to define you. But my beloved child, understand this. True freedom does not begin with noise. It often begins with surrender in silence. When you stop fighting in your own strength, I begin to lift you with my gentle power. When you cease trying to control every outcome, your heart has room to receive peace. When you are silent before me, not because you are powerless, but because you trust, you will hear what noise has long concealed. I do not require you to have every answer before you walk. I only invite you to place your hand in mine. Surrender is not defeat. It is the moment you stop being a prisoner of fear and begin living as one who is loved, guided, and preserved. Perhaps you have grown accustomed to waking up with burdens. As soon as your eyes open, you think of what is unfinished, uncertain, what could happen, what you fear losing, and what you fear you may not accomplish in time. But from today on, let your morning become an altar of trust. Before you hear the voice of the world, hear my voice. Before you check the signs outside, let me touch the place within. Before you step into work, relationships, responsibilities, and the encounters of the day, let me place within you a steadiness that does not depend on circumstances. For if your inner being is set free, you will no longer be carried away by every outward change like a leaf in the wind. You will know how to stand firm, not because you are strong by yourself, but because you have been anchored in my faithfulness. Do not be afraid when I separate you from old things. There are things that were familiar, but are no longer healthy. There are habits that once helped you survive, but cannot bring you into abundant life. There are thoughts you have carried for so long that you thought they were part of you, when in truth, they are only old chains worn during a season of pain. I do not call you out of them so that you will be empty. I call you out so that I may fill you with truth, hope, courage, and a peace that cannot be stolen by tomorrow. You do not have to tear away every shell by yourself all at once. Let me do it with the tenderness of a father who knows what you have endured. I know where to touch, where to heal, where to wait a little longer, and where today something is ready to be opened. When dawn comes, you will realize that what I am doing in you is not first about changing the scenery around you, but awakening a new person within you. You will no longer see delay as abandonment. You will no longer see silence as a sign of my absence. You will no longer see closed doors as a sentence against you. You will begin to see that I preserved you, even in the night, taught you even in the stillness, and prepared you, even when you thought you were only waiting. And when you understand this, your heart will soften. Resentment will give way to gratitude. Doubt will give way to trust. Fear will give way to steady steps. So stay awake, my child, not with tension, but with readiness. Let today be the morning when you stop living under the power of what has passed. Let me break the old shell that has kept you small, so that you may enter the wider sky of grace. Be still enough to hear, humble enough to release, courageous enough to rise, and tender enough to be led. I am calling you out of darkness not so that you will find the way alone, but so that you will follow my light. And you will see that true deliverance is not only escaping what hurts you, but living in the freedom of one who knows they belong to me, are loved by me, upheld by me, and led by me into a dawn, no longer determined by the old night, my beloved child. Come close and listen with a tender heart, for what I speak to you today is not meant to frighten you, but to awaken holy wisdom within you. Each day you live is not a meaningless line of passing time. Every moment is like a quiet crossroads where you are choosing to move closer to me or farther from me. There are choices that look very small on the outside, like a passing thought, a word that seems harmless, or a slight compromise that no one notices. But my child, in the realm of truth, nothing is so small that it leaves no mark. A tiny seed can become a great tree. A thin crack can weaken a wall over time. I do not want you to take lightly the hidden things of the heart, because it is there that the direction of your life is formed before it is revealed outwardly. Do not think darkness only comes through loud and easily recognized actions. Often, it begins gently, through growing accustomed to what is wrong, through one moment of silence when truth should have been spoken, through a small hardness of heart when I am gently calling you back. Darkness does not always pull you away by force. Sometimes it lulls you to sleep with reasonableness, with whispers saying, "Just this once. No one will know. This is not a big deal. But I see what is hidden, not to condemn you with cruelty, but to save you from the cords you have not yet realized are wrapping around you. I am your Father, and because I love you, I cannot allow you to treat poison as clear water, to call chains freedom, or to move farther and farther from the light while still thinking you are at peace. Remember King David, the one I had upheld through many dangers, the one who praised me in the wilderness, the one who saw my hand deliver him from the bear, the lion, and powerful enemies. Yet there was a season when, though he should have been watchful, he allowed his eyes to wander before his feet stumbled. That decline did not begin with a great event before the crowd. It began with a moment of loosened vigilance in private, with an unguarded gaze, with a desire that was not brought before me. Then, one hidden thing gave birth to another. One lie led to a darker plan, until the heart that had once been tender before me became covered in heaviness. But also see my mercy in that story. I sent a warning word not to destroy him, but to bring him back. When he recognized the truth and broke before me, I did not despise a humbled heart. This does not lessen the consequences of wandering, but it shows you that the way back remains open for the one willing to hear my voice. Therefore, do not play with the things that are pulling you away from me. Do not nurture lies and then expect true peace to remain in your heart. Do not hold resentment like a weapon and then wonder why joy within you has dried up. Do not allow pride to dress itself as self-protection until you no longer recognize when I am correcting you. Every unjust action, every wounding word, every attitude hardened against truth is not merely an isolated mistake. It is a step of agreement with what does not belong to the light. I do not say this so that you will despair, but so that you will understand that direction matters more than a passing feeling. A small step in the wrong direction, if continued, becomes a long road, but one small step back toward me can also open a great season of restoration. At times you ask why I take so seriously the things you consider small, my child. It is because I see the end from the beginning. I see how a bitter word today can become a wall of separation tomorrow. I see how a lie that seems to protect you today can cause you to lose purity and courage later. I see how indifference to my calling today can make your ears harder to hear in the seasons when you need guidance. I do not want you to exchange true life for a few moments of ease. I do not want you to sell deep peace for fragile satisfaction. I do not want you to walk into a distant place and only then realize that the emptiness within you did not come because I left you, but because you turned away from the light that once kept you steady. I am not the one who creates distance to push you away. I am not the one who locks the door before you. I do not rejoice when you lose your way. I am the one who waits patiently, calling you by name, reminding you where you belong. But true love does not force. I have placed before you the ability to choose, and in each choice, you are sowing into your future. When you choose forgiveness instead of revenge, you sow life. When you choose to speak the truth, even when it is difficult, you sow light. When you choose to leave what is impure, even while your heart still clings to it, you sow freedom. When you choose to kneel instead of remaining stubborn, you sow a season of being lifted up. On the other hand, when you repeatedly choose what makes your heart grow cold, you are not being driven away by me. You yourself are stepping out from the place where my presence longs to cover you. Let me comfort you with this truth. You do not need to hide from me. If there is something dusty within you, bring it to me. If you have chosen wrongly, return immediately. Do not wait until everything collapses. If your lips have spoken unclean words, let me place humility upon you, so that you may apologize and make things right. If your hand has held what it should not keep, open it, so I may remove that thing from you. I do not come to you as a cold judge looking for a reason to punish, but as a father who sees you standing near the edge and urgently calls you back. That call may hurt because it touches the truth, but it is the pain of healing, not destruction. It is the hand pulling you out of the fire, not the hand pushing you into fear. From today on, learn to guard small things with great love. Let your eyes learn to look upon what is pure. Your lips become accustomed to speaking what builds up. Your heart remain tender before correction, and your feet know how to stop when my peace does not go with you. Do not wait until the storm rises before seeking shelter. Stay near me in the quiet day. Do not wait until consequences appear before hating what is wrong. Hate it while it is still only a thought trying to take root. Do not wait until you are exhausted before releasing what is heavy. Hand it to me while it is still small enough to fit in your palm. The more sensitive you become to the light, the harder it will be for darkness to deceive you. The more you love the truth, the more false things will lose their power to attract you. I know where you are weak. I know the places where you easily bend. I know even the battles you have told no one about, but I also know what I have placed within you. The ability to return, the ability to resuscitate, the ability to choose again what is right, and the ability to be renewed by grace. Therefore, do not let shame make you hide from me. Let repentance bring you into my arms. Do not let one wrong step become an entire journey of distance. Stop, breathe, hear my voice calling, and return. Life is not a distant idea. Life is when you dwell in the light, walk in truth, love what is holy, and let me lead you day by day. I do not want to lose you in quiet detours. I want you to live deeply, brightly, and freely in my love. And when you choose me in the smallest things, you will see the path before you gradually fill with light. Because every step of obedience brings you closer to the place I prepared for you before the foundation of the world. Learn to recognize me in the quiet spaces. When every sound outside grows too loud, return to the stillness within, where I am still calling you by name. Let your lips stop repeating words of despair and begin speaking to me with faith that may be small yet sincere. Say that you believe I am still here, even when you do not yet feel it. Say that you choose to lean on me, even when your feet still tremble. Say that you will not call yourself alone, because I am the one walking with you through every breath. These words are not empty magic. They are the way you open the door for truth, to enter the place where fear has occupied too long. Then, you will slowly realize that my presence is not only a warm feeling in hours of prayer, but the strength that keeps you from collapsing on difficult days. It is the courage that keeps you from giving up. It is the tenderness that keeps you from becoming bitter. It is the small light that continues to burn when every reason to hope seems to have gone out. It is the invisible hand beneath you when you think you have fallen too far. It is the peace that does not always change the circumstance immediately, but keeps you from being ruled by the circumstance. The closer you stay to me, the more you will understand that I do not come only to rescue you from trials, but also to show you that you are being preserved, even within them. So be at peace, my child. There is no moment when you are truly alone. There is no dark room I cannot enter. There is no long night that can make me lose sight of you. There is no limit in your strength that confuses me. because it is precisely when you are weak that you can learn to lean on my strength. Let your heart rest in this truth. I am with you when you can feel it, and I am still with you when you cannot feel it. I am with you in clear joy, and I am also with you in quiet tears. I am with you on the mountaintop, and I am also with you in the hidden valley. Keep walking, even if slowly. Breathe deeply, even if your heart still trembles. Hold on to the truth, even if your emotions have not yet caught up. I have not left you. I have not turned my face away from you. I am not weary of your weakness. I am lifting you with a gentle hand, teaching you to hear the voice of peace amid confusion, and leading you through every event, so that you may know my love is not a distant idea, but a true refuge. And one day, when you look back, you will see that the roads you thought you walked alone all bore my footprints beside yours. The days you thought you could not endure were days I carried you through. The moments when you thought my silence meant absence were in fact the moments when I was holding you with a presence deeper than words.